Everyone wondering why we don't like Argentina. We don't like Argentina because Argentina doesn't like anybody. Argentina doesn't like us. My bad, I misspoke. Argentina doesn't like anyone who isn't white, European white though. Like, it has to be that. If you're Latino, doesn't matter. Literally, if you are not European, Argentina is not with you. That's how it is. I know this. I spent time in Argentina. I put up a video over a year ago about my experience when I spent a few months in Argentina studying. Worst place I ever been, worst people, worst group of people I have ever had the displeasure of being around. Obviously, that's not everybody. I met some really great people. The best people I met in Argentina were Brazilians. They were super racist to Brazilians. In the video I had posted back in, I think it was 2025, I spoke to a specific racial experience, racist racial experience me and my friends had while in Argentina. Everyone is rooting against Argentina because Argentina, generally speaking, is a racist country. It's really that simple. It's one of those things where if everybody dislikes somebody and everybody is saying, hey, this person did this, this person did that, and da-da-da-da, usually that person is the problem, right? And so it goes. Argentina is the problem. Not everybody. Like anything in life, we can't generalize and say it's all of them, but it was a lot of them. It was a lot of them. I'm talking nastiness, spitting in front of somebody as they walk just because they were black. That type of nastiness. Like, it was giving civil rights era racism at plenty of times.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren.
And I'm Maureen.
Right, so guys, apparently Argentina and South Africa are being placed in the same category, right? None of the countries from their continent want to support them in the World Cup for good reasons, yeah? Argentina, what I didn't know, I knew they were racist towards black people. What I didn't know is that even white people, provided you're not the European standard of white, also go through the same.
Right, that is blue eyes and blonde hair. So apparently Argentinians even are racist towards other white people who are not blonde with blue eyes. So guys, let's watch what we prepared for you today and then you come back and talk about it.
Right.
But if you're new to our channel, you can also consider subscribing.
Right, we're also going to be hearing from black travelers or black Americans who relocated to Argentina. They're going to be telling us their stories and experiences in Argentina. You know, maybe it's us outsiders who are just being unfair towards Argentinians, right? But let's hear their experience and then you come back and talk about it. But don't get your hopes too high, okay? Let's watch and then let us know what you think about this on the comment section.
You know why there's no black people in Argentina?
There's not that many black people in Argentina.
I don't think there's any. Have you ever seen a black Argentinian?
Because they murder them all.
Yeah.
I heard that they were going to a war that they knew they were going to lose. So they enlisted all the like black Argentinians because they knew they're all going to die. Isn't that crazy? So they don't have the best history of that.
And they're based off more like people from Sweden and Germany. That's why a bunch of Nazis escaped there. Well, a lot of people know, but they all moved to Brazil.
And that's why Brazil and Argentina have like one of the biggest rivalries.
And there you go. There was an Argentinian calling a Brazilian a monkey.
I have spent a week in Argentina and I didn't see a single black person. Not walking on the streets of Buenos Aires, not at a restaurant, nowhere. The people are super nice, but where are the black people? Yo, come visit.
There are no black people in Argentina. That is a lie. Afro-Argentinians have been fighting for visibility for centuries. All the while, their country insists that it's only white and European. And yet, black history is deeply embedded in Argentina. The tango, African roots. If it wasn't for this, candombe, tango would have never been invented. The famous Argentinian asado. Similar to soul food, it was created by black women who had to make the best of the scraps given to them. In fact, in the early 1800s, black people made up 30% of Buenos Aires' population. So, how did Argentina convince the world that there are no black people or history here? Well, part of the story is targeted black communities, wars, disease, and forced labor. Then the government had the audacity to say we disappeared. Poof! The other half is a result of one of Latin America's most successful racial erasure campaigns, Blancamiento, the whitening. From 1880 to 1930, Argentina literally engineered whiteness. The Constitution blocked African and Asian immigration while paying Europeans to come. And to be honest, Argentina was pretty successful in its whitening of society, because how many of y'all are surprised to see this many Afro-Argentines in this video? And that's the thing. People look at Afro-Argentines and assume they're from everywhere, but here. So what does it actually mean to be black in Argentina today?
Un hombre negro, una gran responsabilidad ¿sí? Para luchar por los derechos, por los derechos de nuestras naciones y dejar el camino lo más abierto posible para acabar con el racismo.
I'm a bit delayed in making this video, but I remember last week when the UN declared the transatlantic slave trade as one of the gravest crimes in humanity. Argentina voted no, and most people were surprised. Argentina is a country known for Patagonia, for the tango and for football, not for slavery and their role in it. And there's a reason why. Enslaved Africans began arriving in Argentina in 1588, and the slave trade flourished in their ports of Buenos Aires. By the end of the 18th century, 1/3 of Argentina was black. In some cities, more than 50% of their population was black. The tango? The celebrated cultural export of Argentina has its roots in the Kingdom of Congo. The dance associated with Argentina was born from the people they enslaved. But what happened to them? President Domingo Sarmiento, who governed between 1868 and 1874, carried out what most historians called a covert. It was a calculated method. He separated black community from Europeans. He denied them healthcare, which was at the time a death sentence when cholera and yellow fever swept the country. He imprisoned Afro-Argentines on fabricated charges and executed them en masse. He sent thousands into a war that he allegedly knew Argentina wouldn't win. And the resulting gender imbalance forced Afro-Argentine women into assimilation with white men. And by 1875, the government stopped registering African descendants in their census entirely. Today, Argentina reports 0.3% of its population as Afro-Argentine. From 1/3 of its population to less than 1%. And it didn't happen naturally. A common saying started taking hold. There is no black people in Argentina. With the former President Carlos Menem even going as far as saying, in Argentina, black people do not exist. That is a Brazilian problem. Then we introduced Argentina's current president, Javier Milei. And it was under him that Argentina casted that no vote. He also pursued what analysts call unrestricted alignment with the US and Israel, voting together as a bloc in multiple UN resolutions. Just weeks ago, Milei stayed at Yeshiva University in New York and declared, "I am sincerely proud to be the most Zionist president in the world." And the irony? Argentina currently holds the presidency for the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance. Milei has pledged an unwavering conviction to defend historical truth and the memory of victims. Argentina is championing the memory of one of voting against acknowledging another.
Two racist experiences from Argentinians in the last week. The first one, I was working business class and I'm taking orders, as we do in business class. We take orders for what you want to eat. I'm working my way up to this gentleman. I get to him and I'm like, "Hey sir, did you get a look at the menu?" This man does this. Completely ignores me. I see earphones. Like, maybe he's on the phone. I'll come back. I go take everybody else's order. I come back to him. I'm like, "Hey sir, did you get a chance to look at the menu?" He does this. I'm gagged. I'm like, I've never been shooed away before like I'm some fly, but okay, maybe he doesn't want food. Maybe he doesn't want to eat anything. Cool. So then, mind you, I'm with my afro out because I leave my hair out when I'm taking preferences, and then I tie it up for the service. He goes to my other coworker. Mind you, blonde hair, blue eyes. He goes and tells her, she's working the other side. I'm working his side. She's working this side. He goes up to her and tells her, "I want you to serve me. If she serves me, I'm not gonna eat." So I'm like, then she tells me he told her I was being rude to him. I asked him 2 questions, 2 separate times. "What do you want to eat?" Somehow I was rude. And y'all know me, I'm smiley, I'm happy, I'm bubbly. But somehow I was rude. Honestly, I already knew what was up. He didn't want the girl with the afro to serve him his food. I get it. Then, last night, I could tell they were Argentinian because their accent immediately. We're doing the briefing for the exit rolls, and we asked, as we're supposed to do, hey, are you over the age of 15 and are you willing and able to help in case of an emergency? The woman looks at my coworker that I asked her, like, looking around for as if she wasn't talking straight to her. So then I tell her in Spanish, I'm like, señora, tienes que entender inglés para sentarte en la silla de emergencia. Te puedes sentar aquí atrás o si tienes otra persona puedes cambiar. Basically, in the exit row, you gotta understand English in case of an emergency, because not all of us are gonna speak your language, but all of us are gonna speak English, and very quickly at that. So her daughter comes up like, what are you doing? I paid extra for this seat for my mom to have extra leg room. And I'm like, I understand, but to sit in the emergency exit, you have to understand English. In case of an emergency, we're gonna be shouting commands in English, and we can only have people here that understand and can follow commands in case of an emergency. That's the whole point of an emergency exit row. So I say all that in Spanish to her. Then my other coworker comes back like, oh, are you guys gonna switch? And then she starts again with my coworker, attacking her. Obviously, another black woman. She starts attacking her like, oh, who are you? You're just a flight attendant. You can't tell me I paid for this seat. I'm like, ma'am, I understand. Can you just switch with your mom, please? She's like, okay. Then she brings another girl because that row was empty. She brings another girl. So she paid for one seat, but then got another seat for free. At the end of the flight, she goes up to my coworker, talking about, what's your name? I'm gonna write you up. You were so rude. I'm like, all we told you was that you have to switch. So then at the end of the flight, she goes up to the lead flight attendant, talking about, oh, esa negra fue da 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 da. And I'm like, and that right there confirmed that she was Argentinian. Because I'm telling you, the most racist experiences I've experienced in my life have been in Argentina. Because when I have my hair like this, when I have my hair curly, when I have an afro, when my hair's straight, I'm Latina passing, I'm white passing because I'm melanin deficient. But that right there is why I stopped straightening my hair for work, especially going to Argentina, because if you're racist, I want to know that you're racist.
What's a place you would never go back to though?
I would go back everywhere, but a place that I wouldn't pay. Like if that bread right, if they say, hey, we want you to come out here and promote this, I'm going to get the bread. But I wouldn't necessarily want to go back to Argentina unless it was somewhere different. But I didn't find Argentina super fun. I was there for a long time too. I was there for like a month and a half. So I wouldn't necessarily go back there.
Was the people cool or like?
The people was cool,
racist?
man. But I did have a racist experience. Somebody called me the N-word there.
For what?
Man, because we wouldn't watch, bro. It sounds stupid, but we wouldn't watch a football game with them. Like we was leaving the stadium, the soccer stadium. We was leaving a football stadium, and we were walking around, and they was like, "Oh, what's up?" Like a group of 30 people on one little bitty ass TV watching, and they was like, come over here and watch with us. Come over here and watch. And we was like, nah, we about to slide somewhere else. Shout out to my boy Wes. We about to slide somewhere else. And then they was like, all right then. Like they was on some shit. Like, all right, y'all then. And we was like, all right, whatever, man. We not finna, y'all 30 deep. Y'all beat our ass for real. You know what I'm saying? So we just kept walking. And then they were just saying every slur that came out. Like they was like, and then we turned around. And we was like, what? And then they was like, yeah. And I was like, all right, y'all got it this time because it's y'all 30 deep. Like, y'all, we ain't dumb. But, yeah, that was the only racist thing that really happened, like, ever in my travels for real. And it was just like, they wasn't, like, that animosity don't really, if somebody calls me the N-word, it don't really hit the same unless they like a white American for some reason. Like, you, no disrespect, you poor. Like, y'all more of a we are, dog. Like, y'all many black people in Argentina.
I don't think there's any. You ever seen a black Argentinian? Because they them all.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. The video I stitched said that it was because there was a war and they put all the black people on the front lines, which, is a thing that the United States has regularly done, so it's not far-fetched. Half and ever. There was actually a dirty war. The dirty war took place between 1974 and 1983. There was a dictatorship. Okay, and it is estimated that between 22,000 to 30,000 people were disappeared. They used to take people and they would put them in airplanes, cargo planes, while they were still alive, and they would drop the tailgate of the cargo plane and pew. Then they would take the children, and if the children were fair-skinned, then the former Germany schmazzies who escaped to go to Argentina would adopt those children. The way that the politics in Argentina was prior to the waves of German escapees was a very socialist democracy type of place. So yeah, we found out about this because, and when I say we, I mean the public found out about this because of the Madres del Plaza de Mayo. Okay, so it's an Argentine human rights association that was formed by mothers and grandmothers whose family members went missing. Because what would happen is the military would bust down doors in the middle of the night while people were sleeping and steal them out of their beds. Then they would put them in basements, dungeons, if you will, until they got information out of them about anyone who was quite possibly going to be staging a coup and steal their children and give their white children, to white officials. Anyone who was dark was let go.
So guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about the videos you just played here. You know, it's quite funny that, anyway, if I was the air hostess, the lady who was working with the airplane, right? I feel like if someone doesn't want your services, let them live the way they want to. The problem with that is that she's been employed and the kind of work she's doing requires her to be polite to customers, right?
Right. And I think she wouldn't have let it be the way it was. Mm-hmm. She had to explain herself, because at the end of the day, as you've said, she is employed, and a complaint like that can make her lose her job, which is quite unfair, you know, because right now when you observe the demography of Argentina, and you also study the history of how black people disappeared into the background, I feel it's the reason why. How many of you guys remember last year when, after Trump had fired most generals and people who held positions of power who were black in the military, and then when the situation with Iran was coming up, they were begging black people to enroll into the military, black people in black neighborhoods to enroll into the military, and black people were all over the internet telling each other to not make the mistake of enrolling in the military. I do feel like right now black Americans know better, and Argentinians, Afro-Argentinians back in the day, the ones who were sent to their unaliving, they didn't know any better.
Right, but it's quite unfortunate that it's been years and decades, and yet nothing has changed, not just in Argentina, but the whole entire world, really, you know. Because, guys, imagine what happens in a country where they vehemently try to deny the population of black people that exists. But, you know, even if right now they have less than 1% in their country of black population, the thing is that they're still there. They still have Argentinians who are black, you know. And there was somebody who once said that it doesn't matter what you do, black people will still outlast you, they'll still outlive you, they'll still outnumber you. It doesn't matter how many times you try getting rid of them. And I feel like that is the situation with Argentina, right? Right now you can find Argentina as one of the whitest country in the European parts.
But
they're
not that white, because if you put them besides what they consider real white, they still look colored or tanned, Can I say that?
I don't know, but
they don't totally look white, but yet they see themselves as the whitest people in the whole world.
Right, and it's just amazing how they look at themselves as being the best or better than every other person. You have to look at the kind of mindset and mentality Argentinians have. You have to look at the kind of mindset they are being brought up with. And at this point, you cannot convince me that you'll find one single Argentinian who is not racist unless they've done the work. Because I do remember a situation that happened where an Argentinian tourist who happened to be, was she a lawyer?
Yes.
So she should have known better. She went to, I think it was Brazil. And
the audacity.
Right? You go to another person's country and then you try and also use racial slurs while you're there, thinking that you're going to get away with it, only for you to be thrown in jail, a whole lawyer like you from Argentina. But the fact that she could not control herself speaks volumes about her, because this was not even her country. She did this in a foreign country.
And I think it's also high time that Argentinians know, since they cannot control or contain their racism, they shouldn't even take a vacation in a place where it has black population. Strictly go to a place where there are white people. Maybe you might turn out to be the one who is being discriminated against and being shown racial slurs while you're there. So maybe that is also why they choose to go for vacation in places where black people also exist, like like Brazil, so that they can feel superior and better about themselves.
Right, but definitely I didn't know that even white people get discriminated. With Latinos, I could understand, because also in America it's happening, right? Because at the end of the day, most of them belong to the people of color community, unless they're born white passing. Yeah.
But you know what's the funniest thing about this is that the same way Mexicans are racist towards black people and very, very colorists towards people of their own descent who are not white enough, but are they're just white enough but not white, the kind of white standards they'd like. They discriminate against those people the same way Argentinians discriminate against them. And the funny thing is that you'll find these very same Mexicans complaining about Argentinians as if they have done the work to deconstruct racism in their community.
That is quite funny, but I feel like the world, if you're living in an area where you're practicing racism, that's a disease. It's a sickness that needs curing,
and it can only start from within. You as a single person, not like a collective, like Mexicans as a whole or Argentinians as a whole, but you as a single person.
Right. So guys, let us know what you think about this episode. Also consider subscribing if it's your first time here, and we'll catch you on our next episode. Thank you so much for always tuning in.